Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Tuesday, the 26th of February. Reading through Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, today we read chapter 13, which begins with Paul's discourse on love, and then he goes on to say, love will remain, but everything else will disappear. And he mentions things like prophecies, tongues, and knowledge. He says they're all imperfect, and only the perfect remains. And God is love, and love is a characteristic of God, and it remains. Other things don't. And in verse 12 he makes a point. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part. Then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And a wonderful truth that we can hold on to. We don't see things properly. It's like a mirror. And we need to remember that it wasn't a mirror of today. Paul was writing this in the first century when his mirror was probably a piece of brass that had been hammered as smooth as possible and then polished. And so you could get a sense from the reflection of what was there, but it was a very imperfect reflection because the colors were all wrong. If there were any slight blemishes in the mirror, that would affect the reflection. And so you had a sense from the reflection of what was there, but you're aware that it was a very, very imperfect image that you had. And Paul says that's what our knowledge is like now. And when we consider the things of God, and when we look at our life, and when we think about the problems that confront us and where God is and what God is doing, as we read through the scriptures, we can get to know God, we can get to know what he tells us in scripture, but even that is not fully the full reality of what God is like, what heaven is like, what life is about. It's a dim image, like a reflection. One day we will know fully. One day we will see clearly. Today isn't the day. And for me, that's always an encouragement when wrestling with issues and thinking, I don't understand. Paul says, no, we don't. One day we will. Today we don't. And so be encouraged as you go through life to trust God, to know that whatever the problems, whatever the situations, whatever the complexities are that we confront, whatever we're wrestling to get our heads around or to make sense of, we always know, we know in part. We cannot see clearly. One day it will make sense, and we hang on to that truth. So be encouraged to walk with God, to trust God, and to know that he is ultimately in control. That we can rely on. Be blessed.